My name is Thomas James Arelis Carpenter with the Bridges of Hope International Development Agencies. I've been requested to write and present several short stories which outline precisely what the Bridges of Hope does and why they're doing it. With that being said, let's talk about an old saying. Give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will eat for life. Now, this seems like a relatively simple concept, as most of these info assaults will be. Everyone pretty much understands that education is better in this scenario. Consider the same scenario if you give the man $40. He will buy a fish. Now, the solution that we achieve today is that the man eats fish. But $40 will never teach the man to go fishing. In good faith, and often very effectively when considering temporary relief, we give small cash donations, but this is not the most efficient way to contribute to any society. However, the immediate need always exists to consume the fish. And this is one of the fundamental issues with the simple consumption charity as we've defined it in our society. We get to choose who we represent in a foreign economy. We could be feeding consumers, we could be savvy business investors, or through government organizations we could affect overall quality of life. Unfortunately, we can't just keep giving cash supplies without any education or training to accompany it, because there is no opportunity to expand on that knowledge without outside assistance. We also can't keep giving to large government funds hoping that it's utilized to its maximum efficiency. The connections exist, but they're delivering the wrong solutions many times. And the Bridges of Hope International Development Agencies, they want to change that. Now, macroeconomics is a concept which can be applied generally throughout the world, and one of the basic overarching themes is the aggregate demand formula. Now, the aggregate demand formula is represented as C plus I plus G plus X minus M. And that is equal to GDP, or gross domestic product, generally speaking. GDP is commonly equated to overall standard of living for a population and is quite reliable. Now, the higher the GDP in an area, the higher your standard of living in that area, on average. To quickly define the terms, we start at the end with the X minus M, right here. So that represents exports minus imports. Now, basically what that means is the more exports you sell, so the higher the X, and the less imports you buy, the higher your GDP is going to be. Now, G stands for government. Government expenditures. So when the government chooses to spend money on goods and services, or the standard of living improves. C stands for consumer. Consumption expenditures. So if you are a consumer in the free market, you choose to spend all of your money, you will give a boost to the economy, and the overall standard of living for all of us will improve. I is the one-letter acronym for investment through private businesses. Now, more business investment means greater overall quality of life for everybody in the area. Again, going back to the fisherman, why is teaching a man to make an investment into fishing better than consuming some fish? They're both on the equation. Now, once you've been taught to fish, you start a fishing business. Then you can repay any outside business investment and continue to sell fish later. Perhaps you would hire some more men, and you would teach them how to fish. Suddenly you have an entire village full of fishermen with fresh fish, which could then be exported. As the formula dictates, increased exports and increased investment will both increase overall standard of living. It is because of this the Bridges of Hope International Development Agencies wants to provide business investors with these opportunities, not to simply feed immediate consumption needs. Now, we want your help. We don't just want your help, we actually need your help. As passionate and determined creative problem solvers, you can take a role as investors. Provide relief to poverty through sustainable business solutions. Now, this is how we plan on connecting all people and reinventing charity for a new generation, is with these types of business investors. With that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hope that I can count on your additional support as investors in the Bridges of Hope International Development Agencies. My name is Thomas James Arelis Carpenter, and I will see you on the next Info Assault for the Bridges of Hope. Thank you.